Greetings, one and all, from just me. I don't know where Kit Kat is. So, he's disappeared. He was here 10 minutes ago, but it's a fairly chilly and rainy day. So he's been inside. He hasn't been out yet. So he's gone to do his business and whatnot. So. I'll leave him be. He might pop in a bit later on to say hello. Right, so we make finish with this thing, huh? Today. And let me have at it. So yesterday I had begun working with a little bit of, and literally with a little bit of black Conte crown, and I'm going to continue with that today. Just basically with line work. I think that's what's going to kind of finish this piece off. And what I had what I was saying yesterday, and I've just actually lost my train of thought because I haven't properly woken up, I don't think. Oh yes, so yesterday I was explaining to you how even in this area here there's four different black materials. So I've got my black Conte crown, which I'm using here now. I've got black pastel, black chalk pastel, and of course the charcoal, which forms the basis of everything. So even though you might just see black squiggles here, there are 4 different grades of black, 4 different variations in tonality, which when all used in conjunction present more dimension, more depth, etc., even in this silhouetted tree. And I am just now working with, as I said, working with line, just to get more of the illusion of detail. And of course to differentiate the texture of this area from the clouds. So I think that's what today is all about, is just working up that level of contrast in texture and color and then all these kind of things, and how they all work together. So that's my mission for the day in completing this piece. I also want to work, of course, in compressed charcoal. I want to get a little bit of gradation here, and I want to get it slightly darker down the bottom. than elsewhere. Of course, my visiting mosquito, and once more I've now forgotten to bring my spray with me. Never mind. I'll just kill you the old-fashioned way then. Hello, little boy. Here he comes. Say hello. Hey. Yes. Come and say hello. Ooh, but we're wet. Ah, there's Kit Kat. There he is. Come and say hello. Hey, but you're all wet, Kit Kat. Where you been? In the rain and drizzle. Hey, to go and do your thing. Anywho, here he is. Here he is. Oh, goodness me. You know, the interesting thing is about him, he'll be dry in about 3 minutes. Completely dry. From licking, from body heat and all that, he just evaporates everything, and yeah, you would never have known he's been outside in the rain. Now I do want to add these. Oh yeah, okay. I'm going to put two. Okay, sorry, I'm not talking, concentrating. I'm going to put two little Norfolk pines in here. Two large Norfolk pines, just to give an idea of perspective, size, dimension, etc. I was going to put palm trees, if you recall, at the beginning, and I thought that it might with the colouring start to take on that stylized island style kind of thing, and I didn't want that. So here we have and in fact quite sort of typical of Durban North, if not indigenous. You'll always see these Norfolk pines scattered all over Durban North, and this piece is kind of pretty much for excuse me. Oh, this piece is very much for the presentation. Well, not presentation, but for showcasing and joining in with the Durban North, at least with the North Coast Artists group. So we're having a meeting tomorrow, and then we get to bring along a piece of art, and we have a monthly theme, which is the color of dawn, hence the name you'll see on the video. So that's what this is about. So I'm just adding this little bugger in here. And let's put another one over here a bit closer. And a bit larger. Let's just do it. So the home I grew up in Durban North, we had 4 of these trees in the garden. 2 at the bottom, 2 at the top. I think Mum and Dad planted them. Stand corrected. But and I don't know what year you would have planted them, but probably 1949 or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, at a point I think it might have been in the 90s somewhere. The two in the lower part of the garden had to be chopped down because they were becoming a little bit unstable and kind of looming over the neighbor's property. So Dad decided to have them removed, chopped down, but the two in the back garden still remain today. Which I'm happy to say. So many people these days have a very little regard for trees, plants in general. They sort of have a very gratuitous approach to these kind of things, which is sad. So many people, when moving into a new home or whatever it might be, all they want is brick paving, virtually no plants, because they want low maintenance. So they don't even have a nice grassy lawn. So they take out all the trees and they take out, in fact all they're doing really unconsciously is taking away the soul. Because even a dwelling, a property, piece of land, homestead, has a heart center. It has a soul, just like you and me. This is just people's unwillingness to expand their learning, expand their beliefs. And that really is sad, because we can never stop learning. We can never learn enough. So people then limit themselves to what they know. And this has come up for me recently, big time, in that people are just so inflexible. So they shut down an aspect, a potential an opportunity to learn something new about other people, and they just stick with, this is my little bubble, and I'm content with it. Yes, people can be content by all means, but it's frustrating to see sometimes, because I can see potential in people. I can see how people derail them opportunities for themselves, derail the opportunity to grow. That's okay. That's okay. So yes, and I think that's sort of part of it. I think in terms of us being out of synergy with the world around us, unappreciative. All people think of as themselves, and so the environment becomes very, very, very secondary. No thought given. And then, of course, you get people many people, of course, who are very, very aware. My dear friend Denise, who came around last evening to visit. She's involved with the whole Blue Lagoon cleanup operation, and they get together, I think, on a monthly basis, and go and clean up litter and what have you that on the beach around Blue Lagoon area, Rocket Hut Beach, and up in Durban North, and they pick up loads and loads and loads of litter. It's quite a funny little story that she was telling me, was that this last time they gathered, they collected in the couple of hours or 3-4 hours, I don't know how long they spent doing this, but in the time that they spent in their little cleanup operation, they collected 40 kilograms of flip-flops, discarded flip-flops, and the one little guy. So then the facilitator said that, or the sponsors, I think, said that a prize. I think the sponsor was a pizza parlor, and I said, okay, so competition is to find anybody who could find a matching pair of shoes, whatever, flip-flops, gets a free pizza. And this little boy, I don't know how old he was, but 8 or 10 or whatever, a characterful little boy apparently, he was very proud to have found a matching pair. And I was thinking to myself, how what are the chances of finding a matching pair of flip-flops that have either come from up or down the coast, down the river, and have landed up in the same spot? Or they're from two different sets, even more mind-blowing, hey? Yeah, so there are people who are conscious, aware, responsible, with looking after the planet. We could do with a few more. Just appreciating what we have, this magnificent gift that we have, and you know, my kind of point is that by and large, human beings are too involved in doing life that they fail to see or fail to notice the world around them, and to stop, to take pause, to reflect on more broader concepts. But that's okay, you know. Can I say? People are people, so why should it be you and I should get along so awfully? Little Depeche Mode. Okay, so that's actually taken quite a nice little turn as well. Just in the introduction of those two Norfolk pines there. Just gives that little extra kind of size to the grandeur of this scene. You know, the to me it's always you can't quite capture it in its expansiveness and what have you. I mean, even if you had like a fisheye lens or something that you get a wide angle, you still can't capture it properly. So now you can see why you know when I say that this work takes time. This is all little squiggles that this is literally the doodling I'm talking. I always speak of. And I've just told you a whole story whilst doodling, because doodling is an automatic thing. You don't have to think to doodle. So let's put a little bit of white in here now. And in saying that, you don't have to think to doodle. Which then leads me to saying that, why do we then limit ourselves in terms of saying that we are not, and I'm not artistic, or I'm not creative, and yet we don't consider the fact that we can all pick up a pen, a pencil, something, anything, and just create something unconsciously, without actually being aware of it. We're doing something else. We're talking on the phone, or we do whatever, and our hand is doodling on a piece of paper, without us actually bringing up our limiting patterns of behavior, our limiting beliefs, and all that sort of thing, and complicating everything, rather than just saying, hey, I am inherently creative. I am of creative essence. But we don't do that. We can't do that because we've limited ourselves in our language since our formative years, and that's it. The die is cast. And yet we don't have to all be artists. This is not what I'm saying at all. It's not about that. But we all have a creative core, in my belief, and we all create. The capacity, we have the capacity to create, and we do so every day in some shape or form. But to become aware of that and conscious of that is now we can start to work on creating consciously, designing our future as such. I'm just using my charcoal here just to bring in some darker streaks as well in this morning sky. And I'm just using a very light touch with this. Horizontal lines. You know that streaky cloud that's like a cumulostratus or stratocumulus, I forget. Those streaky clouds that you find way down towards the horizon. Quite high up, but not quite as high as Cirrus. I think they're not even called cumulostratus, they're just called stratus. That name given for their kind of appearance of being layered like strata. Interesting that all these cloud formations are given Latin names, terminology. Cirrus, stratus, cumulonimbus, cumulus, and I think that probably many kids today don't even know that, don't even recognize that those times existed, that Latin was a thing that some people learned. I didn't learn Latin at school, of course, but it wasn't an option, and even if it was, I probably wouldn't have taken it. But many schools, especially the more private schools and whatnot, would learn Latin. I learnt a little bit of Latin when studying music in my teenage years. But that was just to do with music. So yeah, so here we are just working up this out. Now I'm going to put a little bit of variation into this orange cloud here. Just a little bit more contrast and what have you. Just with my charcoal. I don't want it to be too intense. Once more, a little bit of doodling up top here of this thing, just a little bit more detail and what have you. Let's get that down there. We've got about 25 minutes or so left now, I think. This gives us enough time to just take our time to work up these little kind of detailed areas. So if I was actually using just one material, for example, if I was just using charcoal, or if I was just using pastel, the range of textures I would, okay, so let's take pastel, so this is in color, so the range of textures that I would be able to create with just one kind of medium would be, it would look a lot flatter than this, in my opinion, because just like I'll explain, for the very reason I explained to you, because the four different materials that I've been using in just in this quadrant here build up that depth of field, even if it's all just pretty much black. So because the four different materials have four different textures and intensities of black. And the same applies in when I'm doing seascapes and that sort of thing, where I build the richness of color. You know, with charcoal, for example, charcoal just forms the basis of it all, so I get this lovely tonality that comes from introducing that, and then obviously the colors come through with the pastels, and then of course, you know, the introduction of acrylic white, you know, for my very intense highlights. So I do get that wonderful range of, oh, there's my happy neighbors. Thank you. Bugger off. Typical. Every single day. These are the same swines that had the big generator for drilling their borehole a few weeks back. If any of you might recall me talking about that, it just went on for 3 days. This absolute mind-blowing wall of sound that people are totally, and they never get that alarm has been doing that for as long as I've been here, 10 years, 12 years, whatever that I've been here. It's been doing that alarm has been playing up, and they've never even, in fact, even when I got here, that there were different owners to that property, and now the owners have changed a couple of years ago, and they've still never got it fixed. So it goes off with all arbitrary hours, and sometimes they'll let it go on and then switch it off, and then other times that, like this, they'll switch it off and then it'll kick in again, and they'll switch it off and then it'll kick in again. So, but they never bother to get it fixed. It's just inconsiderate people. This is what I was talking about, these unconscious types. Totally inconsiderate. All right. need to use my eraser now. Eraser time. Just to blend a little bit, fill in a little bit. Okay, so now I've probably got a black smudge on my ear. I had an itch on my ear. I tried to. Anyway, it's. Goodness, still an itchy ear. Right. I need to stand up now, and that's why you'll see that the camera is, excuse me, a little bit further back. But I still think I might just chop my head off here. But I do need to stand up for this little segment. And let me take those three with me. It's like I'm going somewhere else. I'm standing up. Okay, so I need to work at the top here a little bit, and I need to get just a bit of form going, and I'm using my pale blue as well as white, as well as a light lilac. There's these clouds up here that I want to kind of just sort of work in a little bit here more. So if you forgive me if you can't see my head, I'm not sure. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Let's use some of this now. Again, it's all about using the different colors here to create variation, a little bit of contrast, a little bit of form and depth. And of course, this is still in the night sky. So the sun hasn't caught this part yet, way up high, and so you've got just those shadowy, silvery shapes of clouds. And I shall just use my pinky just to blend that in a little bit. Actually, I'm going to use my eraser. Where are you? Come hither. Just to kind of smooth it out a little bit. And then my white. To now just catch a few, and I'm just going to use the end of it just to catch a few spots of just flecks of highlight. And then I'll dab it down with my finger a bit so it's not quite just catching the light. Perhaps it's even just that almost like moonlit sky, moonlit clouds. And I'm being very gentle with my touch here. With my white pastel. Very delicate. Sit down and step back. Blue again, pale blue. And just touching, just stroking it very lightly with my fingertip. Now a little bit of red. So now as we reach further down this cloud, Now there's the uplighting becomes more apparent. So I've already kind of blended in a lot of this, of the reds and magentas and what have you in this cloud. You probably can't see it in the video, but you saw me doing it right at the beginning, well, in the second, during the second session. And now I'm just picking up, and not in a spread out format, but just in terms of just kind of line work, kind of smudges, and just picking up on this fluffiness of the clouds. I think up there I'm going to use a little bit of a paler magenta. Down here there's more of this hint of this deep red, like a fiery glow, almost that you would see in the dying embers of a fire. Or looking into a forge that is cooling off, or molten metal that is really cooling off, and so it goes from the white heat, latent heat, and as it cools it changes to from the white heat to the lemony yellow, to the marigold and yellows, and through to the oranges, and then into the reds, and then deep you get this almost a deep almost a purpley red. As it cools off, and then it reverts eventually to its base steel grey. Yes, but now this is just picking it up nicely because and I've got just over 5 minutes left, so just picking up nicely on these little nuances of color that start to pull it all together. You see, that's the plan, Stan. Let's put some magenta at the top here. Lovely. And it just gives this whole cloud so much more dimension. And depth. Well, at least that's what I'm hoping it does. And you can almost, I mean, you won't be able to see it in the video, so what I'm doing here is just almost creating a little, call it a wash if you want, of this magenta over the black, so it's hardly discernible. You can only really pick it up by coming quite close in. It's just there, and it's just enough to just offset that smudge, the darkness of the black just gives it that little bit of richness as well in terms of the colors used, etc. So so that's that. Right. Let's do a little bit more of this up here. My charcoal. Working horizontally. I'm not actually going to sign this piece, by the way, just to let you know, because I'd rather it's so many of us when we display our work and for the judging, so we all get to judge each other's work and choose who we like best, and so it's light-hearted, of course. It's not serious. And then the invited, the guest artist who's demonstrating gets to choose the winner of the day, and yeah, so that was my task last month as the demonstrating artist, and it's all fun. So members get to showcase their work, and then anonymously. So I'm not going to sign this piece today, and I'll sign it after tomorrow. Anyway, and it's like I said, it's light-hearted. I'm not looking to win anything, but it's all just about interaction, exposure, yeah, and having fun with it, sharing your work. It's simple as that, which I love. It's the reason why I do these. It's the reason why I engage with these videos. And supporting each other, etc. So. I'm looking forward to that very much. Yeah, and I think we're virtually done. So yeah, thank you for joining, folks. I think we're done. Yeah, thanks for joining. Thanks for being part of my journey, and thank you for your comments, and thank you for your shares and all of that sort of thing. Yes, please do hit the subscribe button if you're watching for the first time. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon thing so that you get notifications of my next upload. Yeah, so that's it, folks, for this week. Oodles and doodles of toodles, of course. And see you again next week with something else. I'm not sure what yet. I haven't given it a single thought. Yes, meantime, be kind, be caring, be gentle, be loving, etc. And take care. Have a fantastic weekend ahead, and catch you again soon. Bye. And always, always doodle.